Hello, my name is Van Smith, managing partner here at Smith Strong, and today I'd like to talk to you about premarital or prenuptial agreements here in Virginia. It's a touchy subject. A lot of people don't even want to go there. But for intelligent folks that are pre-planning as they're excited and anticipating the most important day of their life, their wedding, it's not a bad thought to give attention to a premarital or prenuptial agreement. The reality is, particularly if you're in a blended family with maybe children from a prior relationship, or you're coming into the marriage with a business already established or a family business already established, or investment properties and other business interests that are already established long before the marriage, it's important for stability of your family, of your children from prior relationships, of your current business and investments, and maybe just the investments you've developed over the last few years. It's important to ensure stability. A lot of people don't realize when they go into a marriage, they go in with love, but when they come out of a marriage, if that becomes a reality they face, they leave with a business contract. And so it's very, very important for stability to create an understanding for the 52% divorce rate in this country of before any issue arises, let's settle and come to terms with what we can expect. So there's no disruption in our lives if we decide this is no longer where we want to be. What would a prenuptial agreement look like, and what would that conversation look like? Let's start with what a prenuptial or premarital agreement would look like, and then how to have that conversation with your spouse, which is obviously very difficult. First, what does it look like? First, I want you to imagine a sheet of paper with 3 rows or columns. The first column is your property from before the marriage or that you wish to keep separate. The middle column is joint property, the property you acquire during the marriage, like a home that you jointly title, a bank account for shared expenses that is a joint bank account, and other jointly purchased, jointly titled assets or accounts. And third, the last column, are the accounts that your spouse or partner has that she or he have brought into the marriage. Their prior investments, their businesses that they've established before the marriage, and other holdings. We list those plainly, yours and theirs. In the middle is, once we enter into marriage, any property or asset that we jointly title will then be simply divided 50-50, or the percentage you designate upon separation and divorce. It's as simple as that. Anything acquired during the marriage that remains in just the spouse or husband's or wife's name remains their property that they leave with in the event of separation or divorce, and vice versa. But it's a very simple rule. Anything that we jointly title, whether it's a bank account, a brokerage account, or a home, or a second property, or an investment property, is simply divided 50-50 upon divorce. You can also go into whether or not alimony or spousal support is included. A lot of times what I'll see in prenuptial and premarital agreements, and we'll counsel you when you meet with us privately in the design of this, is as the years go on, additional money being set aside for that spouse in the event of divorce to see them with stability move on with their lives. And maybe that amount of lump sum or monthly payments grows as the number of years of marriage grow. For instance, you could say, if we are separated or divorced within the first 5 years, $10,000, first 10 years, $100,000, and so on. So the number grows with the maturity of the marriage. Please note, you cannot put in child support or custody and visitation language into a prenuptial or premarital agreement. Why? Because the children are a third party not with this contract. So it's just between you and your spouse or partner. No children or other third party interests can be discussed in this agreement. Now let's talk about, all right, Van, I get it. A premarital agreement or prenuptial agreement is something I need to think about, but how do I have this conversation? I think the best way to have this conversation is with clarity and honesty. And so you say simply this: I owe it to my family and to myself and to my business or my children from prior relationship to ensure stability in the event we decide that this marriage is no longer working for us. And therefore, I've had an attorney draw up a very simple, straightforward document that lists any property that is in our name or becomes in just our name during the marriage or from before the marriage is our respective separate property, yours and mine, to take with us. And anything that is jointly titled or in a joint account at time of separation is simply divided 50-50. And then, optional, there is an amount that grows over time so that there's an additional stipend there for financial stability in the event that a transition is determined as necessary by both of us. In this way, it's very clear that our investments and businesses from before the marriage and anything purchased during the marriage in just our name has a clear delineation from anything that we joint account and joint title during the marriage. Also, you could give consideration to alimony or spousal support, whether to include that or waive that. Important to note that we're not discussing child custody or child support matters. This is just to provide clarity and stability in the event of separation or divorce. It's important to have these conversations, as difficult as they are now, while everything is still positive, than later, when all of the hurt and all of the arguments lead to a separation. It's harder to have that conversation. As difficult as it is now, it's infinitely harder then. And so I challenge you, if you're of a mind to do this, to do it and meet with a skilled attorney that can help you craft the agreement that works for you without disrupting the life. So there's a family left standing, even if eventually, maybe one day, no marriage. Thank you for your time, and it would be our joy to assist you. Thank you.